Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Yes, I know, another video talking about Netflix's hit show called Adolescence that has ignited conversations all around the UK, including the likes of Keir Starmer, that wants all kids in schools to watch the hit show Adolescence, and not for the reasons you may think. Now, we'll get into that in just a moment, but before we do, I want to let you all know of the Woke Dingbats t-shirts. We're going to be talking about a woke dingbat known as Keir Starmer today and all the other left-leaning individuals that love this hit show but don't even know what the hell they're talking about. You can definitely get yours right now. The link is available in the show description. And for all my UK friends, why in the world would you wait? This is definitely perfect for you guys, especially in your country of origin at the moment. I apologize that it is so bad over there. The link is available in the show description. They are $40. And from now up until the 14th of April, if you've already ordered, you're already in the running, so don't worry. If you order one right now, up until the 14th of April, I'm talking about the Working Bat t-shirt, one of you will win a signed copy of my book, The Path of an Eagle, which may actually help some of you, whatever stage of life you're at. And if you don't get helped, then you just enjoy some of the stories of my life and you get to know a little bit more about me. So I hope that you guys will get a Woke Dingbat t-shirt because they are bloody awesome. And one of you will win a signed copy of my book. So I'll announce the winner on the 15th of April, which is next week. Believe it or not. How crazy is that? Anyway, so what Netflix's hit show Adolescence definitely did was spark a conversation about incels and incel violence. Now, Netflix, you would think, starting this major show on a very important topic and very crucial subject matter in our day and age, would consider to consult a researcher that actually looks at incels and incel violence. Do you think that Netflix would be so brave and so wise to actually consult an incel researcher? No, they did not do that. Instead, they decided to come up with something that Keir Starmer thinks that is not just a work of fiction, but he seemed to think, and he's panicking at the moment, that he's got this major incel violence problem on his hands in the UK. So he's talking about it in Parliament, and Kemi Badenoch, I believe her name is, leader of the Liberal Party, she hasn't seen it. And guess what? She got railed over the heap of coals because she hadn't seen the show. That's the kind of crazy stupidity we've got, not just in Australian politics with our spineless leader, Albanese, going there, Delulu without a Salulu, Mr. Speaker. Not just that, but we've got politicians attacking another politician for not seeing a work of fiction, loosely based on an actual real-life scenario and real-life circumstance. Now, according to the Netflix show, white incels are more prone to violence. So white young men, 13 years old or below, really frustrated with their sexuality or their sexual exploits and all that other stuff. So they get frustrated and they lash out. So all those white boys are the problem, according to the show in Adolescence. And there are so many things in the show that we could talk about, but for the sake of time, we won't. But the problem that this show has created is the fact that you've got politicians in the UK government that consider there to be problems that have arisen from this documentary that will contribute to them making new laws, dangerous new laws. And consider this, ladies and gentlemen, these laws are so draconian. They're not already, like, the UK is already fallen. They're going to be even harsher and even stricter if Keir Starmer's government decides to introduce these new laws into Parliament and they actually pass. What laws am I talking about? You may be wondering. Laws that include online safety in the guise of actually controlling your online browser usage. Not that they're not already doing that. They definitely are already doing it, but it gives them new powers to do much worse. Going after young kids, because they consider young kids to be extremely dangerous. And if parents don't know what their kid is doing online, parents can also get in trouble as well as the kid. Now, Adolescence brings up this young boy named Jamie, who obviously is bullied by a girl. That's the one thing that the Netflix show does well. The girl actually bullies him. I listened to a podcast this morning about this very subject matter. Chris Williamson of Modern Wisdom Acclaim had a guest on his show, and they were talking about this show Adolescence, what they got right, what they got wrong, what the research actually says, what the data actually says. And he actually had an incel researcher talk about the realities of what constitutes an incel and whether or not incels are actually going to commit acts of violence towards or kill another individual with a knife, because that's what this Netflix show talks about. A frustrated young kid that is bullied ends up turning up to a girl with a knife and ends up killing the girl with the knife. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Doesn't really do much else than that. It just makes the white boy the problem in the film or the show. And it's a work of fiction, loosely based on an actual story of a black dude that killed a girl, I believe, with a knife. So Netflix definitely got that wrong. The writers got that part wrong. But because the research surrounding incels, according to this guest that Chris Williamson had on, it's not white people that are the problem. Oh, shocking. Some of you may be going, what? You don't say, Jay. You really don't say. What does the research and data say? Guess what? Black people are considered to be the more violent and the ones that are considered to be the ones that lash out a lot more and commit actual crimes. Now, the data on how many acts of violence and crimes we've got for young incels, you won't see much, if at all. In fact, what's more concerning is not young kids lashing out at others, it's young kids lashing out at themselves, injuring themselves, taking their own life. That's what's more important. But of course, Adolescence didn't bring that up. No, can't do that. That's actually the conversation we need to be having about what kids are seeing online, how they're actually feeling. Are they getting bullied online? Or what are they going to do? Are they going to lash out at their friend with a knife? According to Keir Starmer, UK's got a knife problem. No, you've got a mental health problem. It's insane. Let's blame the tool. It's the tool that killed the person. No, the person was the one that wanted to commit the atrocity, so he got a tool and carried it out. It's nuts. Like, actually use some brains, you woke dingbat, for once. But, of course, the writers of Adolescence definitely wanted to make a statement. They're being invited to 10 Downing Street to meet the Prime Minister and to have a conversation in Parliament, no less, about this supposed issue. And Keir Starmer wants young kids in schools to watch this show. How's that going to change anything? How is it going to change anything? Now, incels are less likely to become violent and attack, but those that follow along with the red pill movement, they're probably more likely to. The data and research is actually kind of interesting because the red pill movement hates the incel movement, and the incel movement hates the red pill movement. So the likes of Andrew Tate is always ripping into the incel movement. So there's a scene in the movie, it's acting like they've got no idea what the incel movement is. The incel movement think they actually worship and idolize Andrew Tate, which they don't. It's the red pill movement that does. So you've got these two different narratives that are trying to be converted into one. You've got the incel versus the red pill. They're trying to combine the two and say that they're both incel and incel is bad. So Netflix got a lot wrong in the show. And to be honest with you, like, they paint the dad not to be a good dad at all. So there's a lot of, I don't know why this of all, I mean, there's actually a documentary that talks about the grooming gangs, that is more concerning and more pressing than, say, the likes of an incel. The grooming gang business, the biggest scandal in the history of the UK, that just completely gets swept under the rug. Keir Starmer doesn't want to do a national inquiry into that, but he's more than happy to talk about incels because he believes that's the problem. You're wrong. And again, the writers of Adolescence, because the mainstream media are very good at this. The mainstream media love to lie. They love to make it all about race. They love to tell fantasy stories, right? They make white people out to be like the demons, and they prop up the black people, even though the black people are the ones that are probably committing, according to the data and the research, committing more knife crimes. It's Islamic communities are probably committing more knife crimes over in the UK. Look at the data. Look at what it says. And by the way, more black people happen to really resonate with Andrew Tate and what Andrew Tate says. More Muslims seem to resonate with what Andrew Tate says. Gee, I wonder why that is. Yeah, but we can't have an actual incel researcher on board and share the data and help with the script at all. No. We've got an agenda. Let's go along with that. Nuts. Anyway, that's enough from me. But you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.